of exactly what happened inside the World Trade Center when that first plane went in, and of course the collapses since then. We're going to bring more of those to you now. Barry Jennings, you were on the 8th floor. You work for the City Housing Department. Explain to me the moment of impact.
Well, me and Mr. Hess, the Corporation Counsel, were on the 23rd floor. I told him we got to get out of here. We started walking down the stairs. We made it to the 8th floor. Big explosion. Blew us back into the 8th floor. And I turned to Hess. I said, this is it. We're dead. We're not going to make it out of here. I took a fire extinguisher and I bust the window out. That's when this gentleman here heard my cries for help. This gentleman right here, and he kept saying, stand by, somebody's coming to get you. They couldn't get to us for an hour because they couldn't find us.
You thought that was it?
I thought we're dead. I thought that was it. I started praying to Allah. I said, that's it. We're gone. It's over.
What was it like for you? You were inside there as well.
It was pandemonium. I mean, it was something like out of Bruce Willis' Die Hard movie.
Frank, go ahead.
That's right. I'm standing here right now just off Broadway by City Hall with Michael Hess, who is the city's Corporation Counsel. Mr. Hess, you were trapped in, I believe, 7 World Trade Center. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, I was. I was up in the Emergency Management Center on the 23rd floor, and when all the power went out in the building, another gentleman and I walked down to the 8th floor where there was an explosion, and we've been trapped on the 8th floor with smoke, thick smoke all around us for about an hour and a half.
But we ran into a problem. We couldn't collect the insurance because the insurance companies didn't want to pay. There were 22 insurance companies defending 22 insurers who didn't want to pay their obligations under the policies. And so they took me to court. And I had to beat them in court, the lower court, and then had to take an appeal and win in the upper court. So they owed me $4.5 billion. A new governor was just elected. Elliot Spitzer, an old friend who I knew well. And I said, Elliot, if you don't help me, I'll never collect from the insurance companies. And guess what? He listened, and he said, you know what? You're entitled. I'm going to get you the money. And in 6 months, he got me the $4.5 billion. The insurance companies didn't like me, but at least I got the money. I
remember getting a call from the fire department commander telling me that they were not sure they were going to be able to contain the fire. And I said, we've had such terrible loss of life. Maybe the smartest thing to do is pull it. And they made that decision to pull, and then we watched the building collapse.
Hi, my name is Barry Jennings. I'm 52 years old. I've worked for 33 years at one location. Basically, that's it. I'm married, father of 4.
Why don't you tell people your experience from the very beginning of the day on September 11, 2001?
All right, it was, as I told you guys before, it was very funny. I was on my way to work, and traffic was excellent. I received a call that a small Cessna had hit the World Trade Center, and I was asked to go and man the Office of Emergency Management at the World Trade Center 7 on the 23rd floor. As I arrived there were police all in the lobby. They showed me the way to the elevator. We got up to the 23rd floor. Me and Mr. Hess, who I didn't know was Mr. Hess at the time, we got to the 23rd floor. We couldn't get in. We had to go back down. Then security and police took us to the freight elevators where they took us back up, and we did get in. Upon arriving into the OEM EOC, we noticed that everybody was gone. I saw coffee that was on the desk. Still, the smoke was still coming off the coffee. I saw half-eaten sandwiches. And only me, Mr. Hess, was up there. After I called several individuals, one individual told me that to leave and leave right away. Mr. Hess came running back in and said, we're the only ones up here, we got to get out of here. He found the stairwell. When we reached the 8th or the 6th floor, the landing that we were standing on gave way. There was an explosion, and the landing gave way. And I was left there hanging. I had to climb back up, and now I had to walk back up to the 8th floor. I was trapped in there for several hours. I was trapped in there when both buildings came down. All this time, I'm hearing all type of explosions. All this time I'm hearing explosions. When they finally got to us and they took us down to what they called the lobby, because I asked them, I said, when we got down there, I said, where are we? He said, this was the lobby. And I said, you got to be kidding me. It was total ruins. Total ruins. Now keep in mind, when I came in there, the lobby had nice escalators. It was a huge lobby. And for me to see what I saw, it was unbelievable. And the firefighter that took us down kept saying, do not look down. And I kept saying why. He said, do not look down. And we were stepping over people. And you know, you can feel when you're stepping over people.
My other question was going to be, you said that you'd worked in the Office of Emergency Management since its inception in '99. Could you just tell people what the OEM was and your experiences with it? Like how often you would be there, what the job of the OEM was?
Okay.
Excellent.
When the Office of Emergency Management did an activation, they always included our locale.
What time approximately did you arrive at World Trade Center 7? I'm just trying to establish a timeline.
I received the call shortly after the first plane hit, which everyone thought was a Cessna. That's what I was told. A small Cessna lost its way and hit the plane. I got there. I had to be inside on the 23rd floor when the second plane hit.
Okay.
I was inside when the second plane hit. I was already in the World Trade Center 7.
So the building was essentially deserted when you and Mr. Hess, well, the command center was deserted when you and Mr. Hess got up there?
Yes.
Was that normal?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
No, not at all. The word we got was they had to take the mayor and evacuate.
Mm-hmm. So they said that the mayor was in World Trade Center 7 that day?
Yes.
He was there earlier in the day,
Yes.
and then evacuated?
Yes.
What's your impression with Building 7 and your experience in working there? What kind of vibe did you get from that building? You know that there was the CIA there, obviously. There was the Department of Defense, the Secret Service was there. IRS was there.
Well, I'm just confused about one thing, and one thing only. Why World Trade Center 7 went down in the first place. I'm very confused about that. I know what I heard. I heard explosions. The explanation I got was it was the fuel oil tank. I'm an old boiler guy. If it was a fuel oil tank, it would have been one side of the building. When I got to that lobby, the lobby was totally destroyed. It looked like King Kong had came through it and stepped on it. And it was so destroyed I didn't know where I was. And it was so destroyed they had to take me out through a hole in the wall. A makeshift hole that I believe the fire department made to get me out. Me and Mr. Hess out.
You don't feel that you've gotten a satisfactory explanation for what happened inside that building?
No.
Not at all?
The explanation that I got was a fuel oil tank. No.
No?
No. I heard the explosions. And then the key thing was when the police officer came to me, he said, we got reports of more explosions, so you have to run. Big talk.
And that's after both towers have fell, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Man, Barry, is there anything else you want to say? I mean, is there anything you want to clear up?
Well, you know, I like to say that, you know, my mind is still there. You know, that day I'll never forget. And the explanations that were given to me is totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. Because as I stated, I was there. I lived it. I lived through it. Actually, I thought I was going to die that day. And it wasn't until some years later that I testified in front of them. It was very, to tell you, it was very scary because they looked like very important people.
Yeah.
They were questioning me about certain things. And, I don't know if they liked the answers I gave. I could care less. I gave my account of it, the truth, and that was it. When I got home, I sat down in front of the TV, and my wife said, "Why do you keep watching this? Why do you keep?" I couldn't stop watching it, and that's when I found out Building 7 came down. I was so surprised, and I'm saying to myself, "Why did that building come down?" And I knew why it came down because of the explosions, and it was not no fuel oil tanks.